Good morning and welcome to Traverse Talks. I'm your host, Jim Horn, coming to you from our beautiful Traverse City, Michigan. Been a busy week, both here at home and across the nation, and we've got stories that hit close to home no matter where you're sitting. We're going to start today with two national stories that have real consequences for Grand Traverse County. Then we'll bring it local with some major news right here in our own backyard. So let's get into it. Tariffs and Michigan agriculture. Our first national story this week is one that every farmer, cherry orchard owner, and grocery shopper in Grand Traverse County needs to hear. 1 year after what the White House called Liberation Day, the tariff fallout is hitting Michigan agriculture hard. Cherry exports are down 62%. Apple exports have dropped 58%, and soybean exports are off by nearly half, down 46%, compared to before the tariffs took effect. Michigan generates roughly $2.6 billion a year in agricultural exports, and analysts say the retaliatory tariffs from our trading partners are drying up those markets really fast. For families, the average household is now paying about $1,000 more per year for everyday goods. Spices are up 50%, food packaging up 12%, and grocery prices overall are up 3.5%. Governor Whitmer signed an executive directive this month to help Michigan businesses recover some of those tariff costs after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that key provisions of the tariff authority were unconstitutional. But for farmers who already planted or are locked into contracts, that may be too little, too late. We'll keep watching this one closely. Northern Michigan's cherry and apple country is ground zero for the economic fight, and it's far from over. And it's interesting, the inflation is really impacting people around the world. I just came back from Paris, France, and the price of gasoline there now is $8.21 a gallon because of the recent war in Iran. No one is escaping these high prices. Anyway, the next on our national stories is the Canadian tourism collapses. Canadian visitors to Michigan dropped 16% in February alone, and the trend is accelerating. President Trump's tariff threats and his repeated suggestions that Canada should become America's 51st state have triggered a travel boycott that's very real and very measurable. In 2023, Michigan welcomed nearly 715,000 Canadian visitors who spent over $237 million in communities across the state. Coastal towns like Traverse City see a disproportionate share of that Canadian traffic. The Michigan Independent reports that northern tourism was already feeling the pinch before spring break season, with border crossing numbers showing some of the steepest declines near the Upper Peninsula and the Straits. Tourism experts say if consumer confidence doesn't recover soon, businesses that depend on summer visitors, restaurants, marinas, hotels, and cherry U-Picks could see a painful season ahead in 2026. We'll have more on what local tourism leaders are planning to do about it coming up after our local news. And, of course, we've got flooding emergency in Grand Traverse County. Grand Traverse County is in a state of emergency. County officials declared a local state of emergency on Tuesday, April 14th, after days of heavy rain and snow melt overwhelmed our rivers, roads, and drainage systems. The Boardman River jumped its banks, and the Beitner Road Bridge south of Traverse City completely collapsed. South Airport Road near Logan's Landing and Beitner Road by Chum's Corner are both closed. Governor Gretchen Whitmer then extended the emergency to 32 Michigan counties, with Grand Traverse among them, as flooding, straight-line winds, and tornado damage spread across the state. County officials say repairs to the Beitner Road Bridge alone could take up to 6 months. In the meantime, emergency crews are actively monitoring conditions and urging residents to stay away from flood-affected areas. For your safety, please do not drive around barriers. If you need updates on road closures, check the Grand Traverse County website or the 9 and 10 News app. This is going to be a long recovery, folks, and we're going to continue following and letting you know what's going on. Number 2 on our local stories, Munson closes Urgent Care West. If you or your family have ever driven out to Munson Urgent Care West on US 31, that option is gone as of yesterday. Munson Healthcare announced that it is consolidating its Traverse City urgent care services into a single location. Urgent Care West is now closed, and all services are moving to the Foster Family Community Health Center at 550 Munson Avenue. Munson says the consolidation will expand capacity at the remaining location and better serve the community needs. Virtual urgent care through Munson also remains available if you need after-hours help from home. So for listeners who rely on urgent care for non-emergency medical needs, especially on the west side of town, make a note, 550 Munson Avenue is now your single urgent care destination. Munson Medical Center's emergency room remains open 24/7, as always. And Garfield Township stabbing suspects sought. Oh, geez. And finally, a developing public safety story from earlier this week. A 57-year-old man was stabbed multiple times Tuesday night near Red Drive and Silver Lake Road in Garfield Township. The victim managed to make his way to the Myers store in the south end of town, where he sought help shortly before 10 p.m. He was hospitalized with serious injuries. The Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Office has identified a suspect, 55-year-old Michelle Lee McGrath. Deputies are asking for the public's help locating her. If you have any information on her whereabouts, call the Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Office immediately and do not approach her. She may be dangerous. We'll continue to update this story as it develops, and links to the full Sheriff's Office release are in today's show notes. Well, folks, that is your Traverse Talks weekly news wrap up for Friday, April 17th. Big picture this week. Federal tariff policy is squeezing our farmers and scaring off our Canadian neighbors just as the summer season approaches. And right here at home, we're dealing with a flood emergency that has knocked out roads and bridges and put our county on a state of emergency footing. Stay informed, stay safe, and look out for each other. That's what Northern Michigan is really all about. And what I'd like to say, take care, have yourself a great weekend here in Traverse City. I'm Jim Horn. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care.